Yes.
I just want to make sure you guys hear it.
Perfect. We're hearing it.
We're seeing it. Because I was like not hearing any reaction, so I want to make sure.
Too busy crying.
Continuing on. Hold on.
Thank you.
All right, everybody.
Woo!
Happy Monday. Where is the love?
Wow.
Huh.
I want to feel it across the screen. Oh, I love you so much. Thank you so much. I think it's important, we practice what we preach, right?
Amen.
And we're coming from a place that has such diversity and love and aloha. And I'm so glad you guys are open up and we're starting to get back to work and we're getting back to business. And so I wanted to share the quote of the day. Dylan, do you want to put it up?
It's up.
Oh, okay, it's up because I can't see it. Hold on 1 second.
Can everyone see it?
Yeah, I'm erasing the screen right here. Sorry.
Did you share your screen, Dylan?
Maybe I didn't. I don't know. Who knows?
It's okay.
No, I didn't. Here you go. Sorry, guys.
My screen is frozen. Okay, no.
One small step.
Yeah, there's a quote. Yeah, there we go. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So the quote of the day, everybody, is mindset. It's all about mindset. From the moment you wake up to the moment you rest your head at night, everything is up to you, right? Your emotions, your thoughts, your perceptions, your reactions, every moment is up to you. So what do you want to choose your mindset to be? And today is about Mindset Monday. And it's about commitment and how we secure the commitment and how we move on from here. So I wanted to share with you, what are you committed to? We are now out of, the COVID-19. We're not thoroughly out of it because Hawaii still has a quarantine for 14 days till July. But what are you committed to? Are you committed to your family? Are you committed to yourselves? Are you committed to your business? Are you committed to your goals? What are you committed to? So let's talk about that. So here are 6 steps to stay in your commitment. The first one is ask early and ask only for time. And I shared with you guys, I think last week, Jay Shetty's acronym for time. You might want to write this down. Time stands for the first thing you get up in the morning, it's thankfulness, inspiration, meditation, and exercise. So how do you want to spend your time in the morning when you get up? Are you part of the 5 a.m. club? Are you doing the morning miracles? What are you doing to set time aside? So I'm calling so what you're doing is, okay, you set this time for yourself and then you start your day and you block out the lead generation, right? So E is exercise, Attilio, right? It's exercise, time, thankfulness, inspiration, meditation, and exercise. So you're going to ask early and you're going to ask, who am I calling today? Who am I making an impact to? Who am I making a difference to? So for the last 77 days, you did care calls. So, right, moving forward, what kind of calls do you want to make? You can continue to make care calls, but I think it's important for you to go for the close and go for the conversation and go for the connection and ask for the business. And let them know up front what you're calling about. Like the last 77 days you talked about, I care. I want to make sure you're okay. Now that you're okay, what's the next step? Because a lot of people are waking up to reality of, I think I might have to sell. I think I might have to move. I think I might have to retire. I think I need to change my forecast of what the next 10 years is going to look like for me. Not 10 days. 10 years is going to look like for me. And you know what? Expect and prepare to hear a no. You know what no means? No means next opportunity.
Not yet.
Yeah, but no means next opportunity. It's not yet, not right now. But one day it will be right now and it will be okay. So think of no as next opportunity. And here's the thing, guys. Number 3 is pitch. We've got to attract people to our value. So as an agent, what is your value? What do you offer? Do you offer something different, unique, special? Have you been in touch with them through this whole COVID-19? Have you stayed in touch, wanted to help businesses? Have you been local? Have you been macro? Have you been contributing at a really high level to helping people elevate, engage, get to the next level during this time? Because right now there are people desperately thinking, how do I preserve my equity? How do I maximize my equity? How do I go to the next step? What is my next step? So what is it that you can bring value of? That's number 3. What's your pitch? What's your value? Number 4, always ask again. I don't think we close enough, everybody. I think that we stop at, how are you doing? What are you doing? How's the family? And then we don't want to go for the close. And you know, a close doesn't have to be a hard close. It could be a relaxed close because we're playing the infinite long game. We're not playing the short term, let me do this deal. We're playing this, let me build a relationship. Let me create a conversation and let me think the infinite game. And look, I may not be able to help you right now, but maybe I can help you later. I don't want to be your plan A. I would love to be your plan B. What would that look like? Are you trying to preserve your equity or are you trying to maximize it? Whatever it is, let me help you, right? So number 4, did I skip to number 5? Number 4 is ask again. See, here's the thing, what we do, we ask once, but we don't ask again. We don't play the infinite game, right? Number 5 is, here's the thing. We ask and we get rejected and we get concerned. Don't get concerned. So if they don't give you 30 minutes, will they give you 15? If you say it's no obligation and I have to get together with you and guess what? We can do it in 20. Would that be helpful for them if we could show them a way to maximize their equity? And this is clients, right? If I can sit with you for 30 minutes, Bob, Andy, Attilio, Dylan, would it be worth it for you for us to sit for 30 minutes for me to show you how you can maximize your equity position right now in this market? Right? Because here's the thing. Most realtors stop at the first no. They never go on. They don't go for their second win. They just quit. But the experts, the pros, the people who take it beyond, they're going to keep going until they hear a yes. And it may not be a yes for now, but it may be yes for later. It doesn't matter. Because their commitment level is about getting the yes and getting the maybes. They're not worried about the no's. I'm not worried that I call 100 people and I get no 100 times. I care at 101, I may get the yes, right? Okay. Number 6, promise not to waste their time. Start out with, I promise this is no obligation. Start out with, this is no obligation and it's free. And if you do that, I guarantee you someone will go, okay, it's no obligation and it's free. Let's move on, right? So those are the levels of commitment, asking for the close, and that's what has to happen. I think more people need to ask for the business. Don't be a secret agent out there, everybody. The Mindset Monday is go in there, you're worth it, ask for the business, and if you get shut down, it's just no for now, it's not no for later. All right, that's it for me.
Wow. Colette, man, you are always here with this most amazing content. Thank you. Thank you for the video. Thank you for the dance music. Thank you for learning how to, some people have commitment issues, but now if you have commitment issues, here we go. I do want to highlight that there was a thing in there that said, this is not a battle of the wills. And all I could think of was Bob and his family fighting. And it might be a battle of the wills, Bob, if you're involved. Anyway, so no, Colette, thank you. That was so fun. I'm excited to keep going. So far we've had guests every week, and here's a little list of kind of who's been speaking on these calls, and it's been a great lineup. But today I am so excited to welcome our Director of Expansion for West Hawaii. He's just been making waves on the Big Island in the real estate world so far. I've been fortunate to see him speak in we had our luxury event and then a couple of calls I've seen Dan speak on. Dan, you're just a real estate rock star, and I'm so glad that you're on the call today. What do you got for us? Mr. Dan Palomino.
There we go. How about now?
Yes.
Yeah, well, thanks for that. And thanks, Colette, for that teaching. And we're talking about some of that tomorrow in our team meeting here in Kona. Yeah, Dylan invited me on to talk about mindset. And, Lisa probably knows me best. And she says that every time she talks to me, she finds out something new and different about me that she had no idea. I've had a very diverse background. I came out of Syracuse University and I was a sportscaster for 12 years in television and in radio. And then I went into the fitness business, both in supplements and writing books and producing videos. And then I went into real estate. So I've had a very, very diverse life and have got to work and meet and be around some really interesting people. And again, mindset wasn't really that much of an issue for me. I always happened to be very, very motivated person. And I think that comes from, in most cases, I can't say in every case, but for me, it came from my childhood in my background. And I noticed that when I study a lot of very successful people, some of the most successful people come from a place of pain. right? They had some type of pain in their life, and it's a driving and motivating factor for them to be successful. I don't know if any of you are sports fans and had the chance to watch the series The Last Dance
Oh, yeah.
on ESPN, and it was a 10-part series about the 1990 Chicago Bulls and their 6 championships. And a lot of it features Michael Jordan. And I got to interview Michael Jordan on 3 separate occasions, one-on-one as a sportscaster. And I always related to him very, very much, not because I was a good basketball player or a superstar, but I related to him in the fact that he had such drive and such excellence, and always wanted to be better. And like enough was never really enough as far as his progress went. And I always had that same mindset as well. And when I was talking with him about that, he had come from a place of pain as well. He had come from a very tough and rough childhood growing up in North Carolina. I had come from a very rough childhood. My mother didn't raise me, I raised my mother. And some of the things that you wanted as a kid, like safety and security, I didn't get. And so as I got older in life, I was trying to achieve safety and security. And that was a driving force for me. That was a motivator. That was the thing that got me to pick up the phone where other people wouldn't pick up the phone. That would allow me to walk into a door and explore an opportunity where other people wouldn't walk into a door and explore an opportunity. And during at one point in my career, I had gotten hired to do some consulting for a company called EAS. And EAS was the world's largest supplement company. And the founder of EAS was a guy named Bill Phillips. And he was a marketing genius, probably the smartest marketing mind I have ever met. And being around him for the time that I was so invaluable. I mean, I was going there to consult and help, and I'm actually the one that won. I got the rewards because of what he taught me in the time I was with him. And he had said something to me early on in my career that's always kind of stuck with me. And he said this, he said, your comfort zone should be the most uncomfortable place for you to be. And I'll say that again. He said, your comfort zone should be the most uncomfortable place for you to be. And I knew what he meant, which is a lot of times we get comfortable and we're not progressing, we're not growing, we're not moving forward. And he was challenging me to get out of my comfort zone. And there was a period of time a few years ago where I was doing real estate coaching. And I was coaching all of these large teams in and around the US. And I would say to them, hey, how's your business? And they would say, you know, it's pretty steady. It's pretty consistent. And I would always cringe when I heard that. And I said, no, it's not steady. It's not consistent. And they'd say, well, what do you mean by that? I said, because business either inclines or it declines. Business really doesn't move laterally. And if you think your business is steady or consistent, it's probably declining and you just don't know it. And so the point being with that and what Bill taught me is you got to constantly be growing. You got to be figuring out how to keep it going on the incline. And if you're not motivated to do that, you got to look at why. Why aren't you motivated? I got two beautiful children at home every day. They're 14 and 12, and it seems like their expenses are increasing incrementally every single day. And so I don't need a lot of motivation. I get up in the morning and, and they need stuff, and they constantly need stuff. And I used to joke around with some of my best clients. You know, my guy in Amer back in Denver, the guy would buy like 10 homes a year with me. And he'd say, you know, Dan, you're making a lot of money off of me. I said, you know, Amer, my kids need braces. You know, my kids need shoes. So, and he'd laugh. He knew what I was getting at. So that's a little bit about me and what motivates me and what moves me to get up and get going every day.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much. Now, I want to jump to some questions. Sorry, give me just 2 seconds. Dan, you were talking to us a little bit. I mean, every week, I feel like what happens, and the question everyone asks is, what's your schedule like? How do you prepare yourself mentally? You've had a big task in building this office out this year. Would you agree?
Yeah, I like to joke with Lisa all the time that she and Colette, they really led me down the primrose path. They said, come to Kona, open up an office. It'll be great. It'll be fun. They just failed to tell me we were going to do it in a pandemic, you know.
Yeah. So
Extra layer of challenge, so to speak.
how have you prepared for that? How have you gotten to the mindset of leading this office during a pandemic?
Yeah, you know, well, I don't know. I don't know how old everybody is. I'm 52, and you remember that that Christmas where the animals in the cartoon were leading Santa Claus through the snow, and the song is just put one foot in front of the other,
Yeah.
and soon you'll be walking out that door. I don't know if you ever saw that.
It's a Rankin and
That
Bass
stuck in my head.
Frosty
And,
the Snowman.
Frosty the Snowman, thank you. And so that's been my approach. You know, I try to put one foot in front of the other. And I try to do the one thing that someone else isn't going to do. You know, it's like we've had this conversation over and over again, which is, you know, well, Keller Williams shares all of their information with everybody, and they share it with agents outside of the brokerage firm. Like, why are we doing that? Why are we telling them all their secrets? And I say, don't worry, because they're not going to do it. You know, the chances of them actually executing it are very slim. And so it's not going to be any competition for us. And so I always have that in the back of my mind, like, what could I be doing that somebody else won't do? Is it making 100, you know, lead calls, you know, cold calls? Because that's likely something they won't do. So what is it that I can do that somebody probably won't do? And will that present an opportunity for me? I mean, but to answer your question, I'm a gym rat. I love the gym. I get up in the morning. I'm a 6:15 type of guy. I burn through my email. I feed the dog, and I head out the door and head to the gym. And I gotta lift some weights and run. Otherwise, I get like a bottled tiger. It's my release, and it's the first thing I do in the morning. And I take a shower. I have some breakfast, and I come to the office. And you know, the reality is that what made me successful in Colorado was I was just a lead generation machine. That's what I did best. I never had a problem lead generating. I didn't see it as a negative. It was fun. It was a challenge for me, you know. And I was telling a story today where my coach, and some of you knew my MAPS coach, his name was Steve Kaut in Atlanta, Georgia. And Steve had said to me, here's your job. And I thought, I know what my job is. I'm a real estate agent. I sell houses. He said, no, here is your job. He said, every day there is a deal on your desk. It's your job to figure out where the deal is. Is it a listing on your desk? Is it a buyer in your database? Where's the deal? Your job is to come in and figure out where the deal is. So I'm on my desk, and Steve says to me, so it's the end of the day. He's like, it's like a Friday. He says, did you find your deal? And I'm like, yeah, geez, Steve, I didn't really find my deal today. He said, no. He said, I'm not letting you off the hook. I said, really? He's like, yeah. He goes, you need to find your deal before you leave today. And I said, well, what do I do? He said, you in front of your computer? I said, yeah. He said, open up Zillow. So I open up Zillow, and I don't know how many of you know about Make Me Move, the feature on Zillow where people for sale by owners put their homes for sale on Zillow. So he says, you live in Highlands Ranch, a suburb of Denver. I said, yep. He said, type in Highlands Ranch. And so I did. He says, are any people on Make Me Move? I said, yeah, there's a whole bunch of people on Make Me Move. He said, any of those buy your house on the way home? I said, yeah, this one right here. I drive right by it. He said, okay, on your way home, stop in front of that house, knock on the door, and see if you can get a listing. I said, really? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, this is not going to be fun, right? I'm thinking, and I pull up to the house. I know exactly the house, and to be honest with you, I probably sat in front of the house for 15 minutes trying to talk myself into going to knock on the door. And I finally get enough courage to get out of the car, get out on the front porch, and I did the light tap on the door. I didn't even knock hard. Well, son of a gun, the guy heard the light tap, and he answers the door, and now I'm stuck, right? And so I think back to Keller Williams and what Keller Williams taught me and how they trained me, and they said, you can't go wrong if you come from a place of contribution. Just come from a place of contribution and this conversation will go well. And so I'm thinking, okay, contribution. So he says, yeah, can I help you? I said, hi, I'm Dan Palomino from Keller Williams DTC, and I was just driving by, and I know your house is for sale and you don't have it listed. And I said, and here, I'm not here to ask for a listing agreement or for you to list your house with me. I just wanted to know if I could hold your house open for you a couple of weekends and prepare some marketing materials for you. And he looks at me and he goes, why would you do that? And I said, well, if I'm completely honest, I said, I kind of see it as a win-win. If I hold your house open, there's a good chance I'm going to meet a buyer. And if I do meet a buyer, that buyer will either say, I love this house and I'm writing a contract for it, for him or her, and you're selling your house, or he's going to say, I don't really like this house, and then I can have the opportunity to find him something he does like. I said, so it could be a win. I could pick up a buyer and you could sell your house. So he gives me this look. He looks at me like this. He goes, and then he says, so you want to come in? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll come in. And so I come in, he starts showing me around. I'm very complimentary about the house. And then finally he says, sit down. Long story short, 2.5 hours later, I had a listing agreement.
Come on. So there was a deal on your desk. Now that's a pretty remarkable, have you applied that kind of thing every day now in building your office? I mean, how do you apply that today?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a different story here, right? Because I'm calling agents. Sure. And I'm trying to explain to them what our value is here at Keller Williams and trying to make a radical shift, right? They've been in Kona for a long time. They've all been with traditional brokerage firms. They've been with brokerage firms that do things differently than us, and we are clearly seen as a disruptor. And so, again, I go back to some of the teachings that I've had at Keller Williams and my friend Bill Phillips at EAS, and I was just having this conversation with Lisa the other day. I said, one of the things I learned is you got to get people to just like you. And if they like you, they'll possibly follow you, right? And so now if I back up and I go, well, how do I get them to like me? Well, I got to get an opportunity to get in front of them or have them get to know me a little bit. And so what you're working on in this scenario is you're working on a presentation or something that just says, here, get to know me for a second. And then if you can get to know me, you might like me. And if you might like me, you might follow me to Keller Williams. And so that's what we're trying to solve, that part of the equation is how do we get agents to just take a moment to get to know me and get to know us, Keller Williams.
Nice. Dan, great story. Great work now. You guys are crushing it over there. It's really exciting to be in business with you as a recruiter. I want to just say, while we have Dan on this call, we're all pretty lucky. We have some questions. Does anyone have questions for Dan? Of course, I just lost my chat box, but I'm going to look at it. Okay, got to back up. Who has some questions real quick? Or some shares? Bob, do you have something to share? Bob said he wants something to share something. Bob, you there?
I do have something to share that I think you'll like, but I got to share my screen. Do you trust me here?
Oh, no, but I will.
Okay.
Go for it.
All right. Hold on a minute. All right. I shared my screen. Now let me see if I can find the darn thing. There it is.
Can we see it? Okay, there we go.
Can you see it?
Oh, yeah, yes. Yeah.
This is what Dan was talking about. Right inside the circle. You're surviving, you're settling, you're doing average work, you're thinking, what if I can't do it? You got to get outside this comfort zone, and there, look at what's outside the comfort zone.
And Dan did that. I mean, that's amazing. Dan, what you
I have
did.
I have that pinned up in my office on the wall.
I love it, Bob.
Oh,
Thank
great.
you for sharing that. We do have one quick thing, another question. Bob, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Exactly what Dan did when he knocked on that door. I mean, that takes a lot of guts. Dan, Tilia wants to know what your number one piece of advice is during the pandemic.
Wow, that's a great question. Number one piece of advice during the pandemic. I can't say that it's, oh, here it is. Ready? Don't wish the moment away. Really. I mean, because we don't like it, and we'd like it to go away, and we'd like to be on to a more normal life, or we'd like the tourists to come back, or we'd like a lot of the problems solved. But don't wish any of the moments away, because before you know it, they'll be gone. Somebody said to me, you know, I love my kids. You know, in Hawaii, you all know everything is about the ohana. Well, in the Italian, in my Italian heritage, everything is about your kids, right? And I love my boy and I love my girl and I can't get enough of them. And somebody said to me, how old's your son? And I said, he's 14 years old. And he said, here's what I want you to do. Is he going to take off for college? I said, yeah, he's going to go to college. Calculate how many more nights you have with him before he leaves for college.
Wow.
Calculate them. How many exact nights do you have left with your son? And so I started figuring out, oh my gosh, I only have like 3,000 more nights, and then he's going to be gone. Or, you know, same thing with my daughter. They're both in that teenage stage where at times they want to pull away from their dad and show me how independent, you know, they are. And then there's other times where they absolutely need me. And I am relishing the need me times. We were in church yesterday and my son had been aloof over the weekend. I could tell something was bothering him. And we went to church yesterday and we were just singing in church. And for some reason, he leaned up against me and he put his head on my shoulder. And I thought, this is one of those moments, you know, don't lose it. Don't forget about it. Don't wish time to be away because I don't want this moment to end, you know?
Wow. Whatever you call it, chicken skin or goosebumps, I got them all right now. Dan, that's huge. This is why we do this whole mindset. Dan, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing these things. I mean, I've been doing that all week. I'm so guilty of wishing away the COVID because it's frustrating and wishing away, you know, the hurt that people are having right now. But that's such a great reminder that there are so much positive things that are happening every day if we focus on those. And like you just said, I mean, literally leaning into that special moment that you had. We need to end here. So sorry, we went a little bit over. I feel like we could interview Dan all day long. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys. Love it.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Colette. Thank you, everyone, for being on here. I'll see you all Wednesday.
Thank you very much.
We have our 8:30 call on Wednesday morning. And if you guys need anything throughout the week, let us know. You guys rock.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
Enjoy yourselves. Have a great week.
Love you guys.